Are you getting closer to catching the murderer?
Technically speaking,
Hello
probably.
again, Fiona. Good to see you here.
We can't be getting
Well,
worse.
Dr. Johnson told me to be here. He said it would be important.
Well, that was good advice. He may be young, but he seems like a wise man.
Oh, and he's a very hard-working person, too. Everyone thinks he's some kind of weirdo, but I don't think so at all. People don't understand why he's in the autopsy room all day. But I do.
He's playing chess.
He's doing research to make the world a better place in the future.
With chess.
You know, he already made a fortune in LA with his career.
I did not know that.
You didn't? Oh, the doctor is a very rich man. He has a really big house over by the lake.
Amazing, Zach. You must be loaded. Rich and young. A perfect combination.
I'd like to
You
marry a
don't get
man
that
like
feeling
him.
from
I
him
mean,
at all, do you? He doesn't show it. That's one of the things I like best about him.
Well, I could have been fooled if it weren't for you. Thanks for the valuable information, Fiona.
charming. I love it. It's fun. I was going to say something else. Hey, Paulie's just staring at that Agent Otter down there. I better go take a look at her. But first, let's talk to this suspect over here. What was I going to say? I was going to say something about Fiona, something about Usha, something about chess, making the world a better place for chess. I don't know. I lost it. Let's hear what this person has to say.
So you're the FBI agent, are you?
The General, owner of the scrapyard. I don't think that's a general insignia, but I could
I'm
be wrong.
FBI
I'm not an
Special
expert.
Agent Francis York Morgan.
I'm the general. I fought for my country in the Vietnam War.
A real-life war hero. So why are you living here?
Soldier, this is my hometown. After a man returns from war, there's no place to go other than his hometown. In your little speech, you mentioned the raincoat killer.
Is that a problem?
You imbecile. The raincoat killer's no myth, not mere folklore, not a fairy tale. It's based on actual events that happen in this town.
It is. I'm interested. Can you tell me more about this?
You kids today don't even know how to ask for something right.
I am an FBI agent.
Soldier, if you want to hear more, you come to my office.
Literally trying to investigate a murder.
He literally exudes raw power, Zach. Despite the credibility issues, we should give him a visit.
One thing, though. Calls himself a general, but isn't that a
I was
sergeant's
right.
uniform?
I think I vaguely remember that from, I don't even think they, from the Let's Play, just in general knowing about the game. But part of that was instinct as well, I promise. That was not, I did not just automatically know that. So we got Don Cheadle over here.
I'm FBI Special Agent Francis York.
Like, legit looks like they
Please,
told
call
the
me.
programmers, make someone who looks kind of like Don Cheadle,
Wesley,
but enough that he
owner
can't
of the
sue
gun
us.
store called
Or
Panda.
different enough that he can't sue us.
People around here call me the gunsmith.
Wesley the gunsmith, the gun store owner. There's guns there.
Was there something you want to ask me?
How do you make a living running a gun store in a place like this? I'd be worried because there can't be that many customers.
Worry gives a small thing a big shadow. I do gunsmith
Good
work
line.
in my shop, too. If you got the skills, the customers find you. All you need is a network.
I hope so.
I guess we're going to look at the toolbox. Here's what I guess we're looking at his toolbox. Wait, no, this is my stuff. What am I doing? I'm done. Unless you're selling lollipops. Guns are just tools for killing people. I don't like it any more than you do.
You've got quite a selection.
That's a scary thing to hear from a
No wonder
gunsmith.
people come from all
To
around.
say, yeah, the guns are
Today,
designed to kill
customer paid me
people.
to go to Seattle for some
In a
help. I just
town
got back.
I see.
obsessed with deer
Well, I'll
hunting.
be sure to visit your store sometime. I'd like for you to take a look at my gun.
Understood. Look forward to it.
We'll show each other our
The shop will
guns.
be open again tomorrow. It's usually open from 2000 to 0600. See you
Wait,
then.
what? It's open from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m.? What is that? Also, I can show you my gun right now. Oh, I didn't know they react like that. And I also got money taken away from me. I'm sorry. I didn't realize that would happen. I'm sorry. I feel bad now. Okay, it just says that for everyone. Now, I believe there's a red flag to end all red
I'm U.S.
flags
Special
here.
Agent Francis York Morgan. And you are?
Olivia, Nick's wife?
Olivia Cormack, Nick's wife. Very big red flag that her identity is, I'm my husband's wife.
What kind of girl was she?
Well, she was a very hard
And I do think that's intentional. That is not bad writing of a female character.
Acting strange?
Not
I do
really.
believe that is intentional.
But there was one thing. Well, you see, the diner closes when it rains. Many shops do that around here, as you might have heard. Anyway, Anna always seemed unfocused the day after it rained. And came in late, too. It was almost as if she used up all her energy the day before. Come to think of it, that was really strange.
Did that legendary monster really kill her?
It wasn't a
Did
monster.
you just get real close to me for that
Just a
line?
criminal. Criminal I'm going to catch and bring to justice.
I wouldn't, if I were a writer, I wouldn't go that route, but it is actually kind of interesting that York is like, don't think of him as a monster. Think of him as a normal person who we are going to catch. I feel like if I were writing, and I feel like the way most people would write, it would be the opposite of like, this man is a monster, which is why we need to stop him. But there's a weirdly comforting idea there of don't think of him as a monster. He's just a man, and he's a man we're gonna catch. I really like that. That's I wouldn't have thought to. I would never have thought to write that line, and I think that's a very good line. Now, if he says I'm Olivia's husband, then it's fine. Then the relationship here is not problematic at all. But let's see what this guy has to
Special
say.
Agent Francis York Morgan.
You may have heard
I
from
presume you were the owner
the
of the
whole
diner
thing I
there
did in
on
front of the
Oakwood?
thing.
That's right.
Nick Cormack, the diner owner.
I'd like to ask you a few questions about Anna Graham. Did you notice anything strange about her prior to the incident? Nick, are you hiding something?
No, nothing.
You sure?
I'm sorry, but I don't like repeating myself.
Fair enough. I wonder what happens if we try to talk to him again. We cannot. Doesn't let us. I bet I can talk to him again. No, I can't even do that. I was going to say I bet I can talk to him to get guns. But nope, no guns. I remembered what I was going to say, but then I forgot to say it. But I do remember what it is now, and I want to keep it in my brain.
You were Isaac and Isaiah's mother?
Yes, I'm Lily.
Lily Ingram, Keith's wife. But also Isaac and Isaiah's mother. And
I'm
Jim's
FBI Special
daughter, maybe.
Agent York, right?
Agent. You are good.
No,
The
daughter-in-law.
handsome special agent from the big city.
I also announced my name in front of you all.
How do you
Again.
introduce yourself? Everyone's talking about you.
Well, I can't say much about the scar. But the way I introduce myself, Zach and I consider it a kind of ritual of sorts.
Everyone has their own rituals. It's like always leaving the house left foot first. It's one of those things.
You certainly are a funny one.
If you say so.
So, have you noticed anything
Anyways, about the
strange
murder.
in this place recently?
Well, Becky's been taking a couple of days off from work, but aside from that, I heard she was in shock after the murder. But,
You think there's something else?
well, I took the boys along to see her today. She's always so kind to them, and they love seeing her too. But she took in the boys and told me to wait outside. Something about a special secret between just the three of them.
That's a red flag.
I just couldn't understand it.
Now, that's interesting. Thank you, Lily.
Perhaps we should give Becky a visit tomorrow, Zach.
Got a lot of people to visit. We'll get through it. What's going on, man? What's going on with you? When York thinks you're weird, that's
Hey there, FBI. I'm Keith Ingram.
a lot. Keith Ingram, the convenience store owner.
FBI Special Agent Francis York Morgan. Please, call me York. That's what everyone always calls me.
Okay, York. No problem, man.
So, Keith, I hear you run the Milk Barn convenience store.
That's right, man. Rock and roll!
Do you sell raincoats there by any chance?
Yeah, but nobody ever buys them, though. Anyone who wears one of them, I say, just ain't a rocker. But you know, that scar of yours, now that scar rocks.
This scar rocks? Now that's a new one. I'll drop by your store soon, and let's talk then.
Yeah, cool, man. Rock on, FBI!
He's a very one-note character, but he is kind of lovable in that way. Alright, who else we got? Let me just grab this real quick. And we'll talk to, her hearing is quite weak, but otherwise she's fit enough to run the hotel by herself. Let's give her a talk.
Mr. Morgan, you're quite an impressive public speaker.
Really? Thank you, Polly.
You reminded me a little of a play I saw when I was younger.
What kind of play?
I'm talking about back when this place was still called the Mercury Theater.
There was this little
When I
boy
there,
who
I
was
used to
dressed
come
up like
here
a
often with
tree.
my husband, God rest his soul. We'd come on the weekend to see the
Comic
latest
relief
play.
plays while she talks about her dead
He'd
husband.
always pretend to be uninterested, but I could tell he was excited inside. He was just one of those kind of guys, really, thinking about it now.
Really, Polly? So what's your favorite play?
Oh, well, I like so many. There was one in particular, but I can't recall the name anymore. Oh, it was a very famous one, too.
Something by Shakespeare?
Oh,
There's a really... dang it.
no, nothing.
If I could remember the title of a certain play, I would have a really good joke, but...
I've always been
Yeah.
forgetful about the plays we used to see anyway. Oh, and my husband would get angry at me for forgetting what we saw. He'd go on for hours retelling what the play was about. His eyes were so sparkling, like a happy young boy.
I see. So, what's your favorite play?
Oh, I almost forgot, Mr. Morgan. We're going to have another guest soon. I have to get back and get things ready. Sorry for having to hurry away. I'll see you back at the hotel.
Suspicious. Wait, isn't there a lady
Zach, I
behind?
think she could embarrass the toughest of the FBI's interrogators. She successfully avoided answering my questions, Zach. Amazing.
Suspicious. There's some play where, like, the first half... I'm going to spoil a play, but I don't remember the title of it, so I can't even tell you what I'm spoiling, so sorry. There's some play where it's like an office... okay, I'll get back to you later. It's just a bunch of people working in the office, and the entire first half is completely normal. You get to learn about these people, but they're just kind of working at the office. Seems very commonplace. And then right before, or maybe right after intermission, one of the workers just starts a shooting and like shoots half the people in the office. And the second half of the play is about that. And if I remember the title, I was just gonna like put in that, oh, I'm a big fan of that office shooting play. Just something like really dark and crazy and something you wouldn't expect. But I couldn't remember the name of it, so the joke is lost. And now it's not even funny because the topic, the subject, the tonal dissonance would have been funny in the moment, I promise. It definitely does not sound very funny talking about it now. Let's move on to this person, who's definitely not the log lady from Twin Peaks.
Oh my.
He doesn't even say anything this time. Why? Roaming Sigourney, nicknamed the Pot Lady. Not the Log Lady, though. Not the same at all.
Hey, mister. My pot is getting cold.
You are... who?
What are you saying? I'm Sigourney.
York, it would have been polite if you had introduced yourself, like that ritual you were talking about.
Sigourney. Okay. Now, what is the matter? Can you explain?
No time for chatting. I need to hurry. My pot is getting colder.
I just realized something.
Oh, you're useless.
I thought those punctuation
Source
marks...
today, but really,
I'll
she
point it out
tastes
again when I see it.
amazing.
there are punctuation marks that I've always just assumed were meant to be line breaks. But they're exclamation points that are just super slanted to the point that they look like slashes. Oh, I should have observed him. Dang it.
Jim, thanks for your help in the forest. How are Isaac and Isaiah?
They're fine.
They really seem to
They're
love their
weirdly
grandpa.
chill about all this.
Well, I guess they do, son. I want to keep them away from the filth of the material world as much as I can.
I don't
Their
let them
mother agrees.
outside the house
That's
at
why she
all.
lets me take care of them so often.
Our
And
trip
that's
to
why
the
I
park
want
was
you
the
to solve
first
this case
time
quickly.
they've been outside ever.
Those rumors about that scar of yours do more damage than good around here.
I guess I reek of the material world, don't I? I have to in order to do my job. But I understand what you mean.
I'd think the same if I was born in a place like this, Zach.
Who else we got? Let's see what this person has to say. Can we observe him? No, I missed that.
Hey, good looking. Nice speech.
Gina the Rose, Jack's wife.
And you are?
I'm Gina the Rose,
Oh,
Jack's wife.
I'm Gina. I'm married to Jack. He runs the gas station. Call me the Rose.
You look pretty revealing.
Oh, this old thing. Oh, you should see some of my other clothes. You? Ooh,
I've
now
got a
you
poncho
are
that
cool.
you'd love.
That scar really is a turn-on. You should come to my station. I'll give you a little extra service.
That would be great. I can't believe how expensive gasoline is nowadays.
That
Some
comment,
extra service would be great.
I wouldn't
No,
say
no,
didn't age well, but
Do you have any
again,
information
as
about
I've said
that?
earlier, the
Have you
playthrough
seen anything suspicious?
in
I don't know.
May of 2020, it's
Talk
kind
to
of
my hubby
awkward
about
talking about
the
how
cool
expensive
stuff,
gasoline
okay?
is.
This is getting us nowhere, Zach.
Useless. I like the idea that York has no idea when a woman is flirting with him. I actually, that's a trope I really like. I think it makes York's kind of nice. I wouldn't call York a creep, but every once in a while he has a comment that's like, and it makes it way less skeevy when you just assume he's the kind of character who like doesn't get what romance is, and is oblivious to anyone who actually is interested in him. I think that makes it more fun. Anyways, let's talk about this guy who seems to have some sort of saliva buildup problem. Maybe we
I
can
ain't
get him
got
some help for
nothing
that.
to tell the cops.
Jack the Raging Bull, the gasoline stand owner. The stand owner?
What about the FBI?
Stand user?
Shut
I'm
up.
surprised there hasn't been a
At least give me a
gasoline
name.
themed stand now that I think about it.
I'm
Well, there
Jack.
was that
They
car.
Call me Raging Bull.
That's a manly nickname.
If you want info, it'll cost you. I only talk to Ben Franklin.
Well, daylight
You know,
savings
first
time isn't
impressions
for
are
a
important.
while.
I can detain you for a few days, and maybe you'll become more fun to meet.
Zach, this is a waste of time. Let's go.
I mean, I could if I do truly think he's withholding evidence. I am allowed to do that, but all right, here we're coming up on a good old someone. Let's talk to this guy first.
You're York, right? I'm Richard Dunn, the owner of the Darts Bar, Swery 65.
Richard Dunn, Darts Bar owner. I'm Francis, FBI Special Agent Francis York
How'd you
Morgan.
like the town?
Please just call
Oh,
me.
it's great.
So everyone calls me.
Aside from the murder that happened here.
Murder
That's
just
a
doesn't
line
fit
I
with
would say in
small
real
town
life.
cars.
Everything's great aside from the murder.
Crimes don't care about size. Big town, small town, just isn't a factor.
I guess you're right.
So, how did you know Anna?
I've known her since she was a child. She was the same age as my son. And she always stood out, being pretty and all, just like her mother, Sally.
What do you know about Sally?
Well, I went all through school with her right here in town. I never thought our children would be the same age.
I don't see her here today.
Ah, well, see, she lost her husband, and this time it's her daughter. She's at home right now, trying to make peace with it all.
You seem to know a lot. How long have you been in love with her?
Hey,
Don't go there. That scar of yours tells me you got your hands full too, right? Let's not dive into personal matters. It'll be better for you and me.
You're right, Richard. Collecting gossip won't help with the matter at hand.
That's actually really that fits in really well with what I was just saying. Of like, York doesn't know how to handle romance. He's an excellent profiler. He, from about 4 lines of conversation, he can be like, "Oh, Richard is in love with Sally Graham," but he does not have the social tact to be like, "I shouldn't just confront him about that, should I?" He just goes for it. That's the kind of thing that makes me love York. I really do love that about him. Anyways, up next, the one and only.
I'm FBI Special Agent Francis York Morgan.
So Anna was killed. But why does that bring the FBI?
Also, Richard was super chill about that. Quint Dunn, a Darts Bar employee. Quint.
I have an interest in murder cases involving young women.
Like, I feel like York doesn't know how creepy that line sounds. He keeps saying it, and he doesn't get why that's weird.
I don't want you taking this lightly, like it's just another case.
I never take anything of this nature lightly, I assure you. I'm here to apprehend the perpetrator who did this.
Yeah, because local enforcement can't shine their own boots, right?
Good point. You can't always count on the police now, can you? But that doesn't mean you're going to capture the perpetrator yourself. Quint.
How do you know my name?
I memorized the name of every citizen before arriving in town. I also know about you and your significant other.
You mean Becky?
Don't underestimate the FBI. We know and see everything.
I'm sorry if I was a little harsh. I want to help, I do. Okay?
Okay, Zach, I'll tell you how I knew his name. He's got a small Q on his hat. That was the only name beginning with Q that I could think of. He was even kind enough to tell us his girlfriend's name. I can read him like a book, Zach.
Couldn't be Quentin. Couldn't be Quill. Couldn't be Quincy. It was Quint. That was the only name he could think of, and he just happened to be right. Frickin' love York. And I like to think he literally just guessed about the significant other thing. It's like, I bet he has a significant other, so I'm just gonna throw that in there. And he ended up being right, and Quint is a big enough idiot that he's told us. Anyways, you would think this guy is just one of the zombies that I've been fighting, but no, let's talk to him. Maybe the implication is it's skipping past the ritual line. Brian the Insomniac, the Gravekeeper. Literally just Johnny Depp.
Brian, the Gravekeeper. Brian.
Mr. Brian. I like the retro look. Auditioning for Little Grave on the Prairie?
Anna.
Kind of rude, honestly.
She was so beautiful. Too soon. Too soon to go to the grave. So sad. So sad.
I totally agree. That's why I'm here, looking for the one who did it. Were you close to her?
Anna, her smile, so warm. Anna, blonde hair, so bright.
There's a graveyard somewhere in town, Zach. I'm not excited about the idea, but maybe we should at least check it out.
So yeah, one of my best friends has chronic insomnia, and I hope she's watching this right now, because I just want to make one thing really clear. I really want to just, I want to address this issue head on, and I just need to say this. The way that Brian is depicted as having insomnia is exactly what my best friend is like all the time. That's exactly what insomnia is like. It's so, like, that's just, they nailed it perfectly. That's exactly what it's like. Anyways, let's keep moving on. I'm sorry, that was really mean. No, of course that's not what insomnia is like. It's so stupid and over the top. Anyways, let's talk to Carol. I like how he identifies Carol as a smoker, and it's like, alright, I can be cool and chill and smoke like with her.
Are you saying she was killed because she was an airhead? Or are you saying that she was an airhead for being killed?
I'm sure she's still an airhead, even in heaven. She
Didn't
changed
answer
her
my question.
hair every day. If she lost a pound, she'd be ecstatic. Gain one, and she'd almost be in tears. She broke many, many plates every day at the diner, and she'd always have a smile on her face, always having fun. Everyone looked at her and knew she was a cute, adorable, loving airhead. But they would be smiling right along with her. I wouldn't be surprised if the angels smiled with her too.
What? Is York just profiling right now?
Isaac and
that was weird.
Was a fairy of the forest, a goddess.
Okay, bye. I got money for profiling. I also
Agent Morgan, I'd like to let him.
Don't think that was everyone. I think I missed a couple people. I could be wrong though. Back in the hole, as Jacket says. Gotta love that. So I love that whole sequence because it really lets, like, it sets it up perfectly of like, these are all, there's something off about pretty much every single person in this town. At least the ones that York considers suspects, and then all the generic people just get to go home. But yeah, it sets up the whole murder mystery aspect of it really well because it's like, something's going on with everybody, and it's also very Twin Peaks-esque, even though this game is nothing like Twin Peaks in any way, obviously. Yeah, I love that. I think it's really cool. I also think several of the characters, some of them are more one note than others. Keith is just a rocker, obviously. But like I said, you can tell that a lot of them, they are all interesting characters. It's good. It's good. I like this game. I like this game a lot. It's a good game. A weather doll. A doll that expresses rain by turning around. I have no idea what the F that is. But it scares me.
Well then, Agent York, do you have any plans for this evening?
I was going to head back to the hotel and go over my notes. I need to contact HQ and give a progress report too.
Okay, then let's call it a day here.
Sounds good.
Contact my office when you finish your report. We'll pick you up tomorrow morning. Diane, the owner of the art gallery, should be back soon.
All right then, let's do that.
Peek?
Hold on, Agent York.
I was peeking at Emily, but because she was coughing and trying to get my attention a little bit, maybe?
Nice.
Thomas is a great cook, but Nick is the real deal. No visit to Greenvale is complete without eating at the A&G.
A very appealing proposition. Zach, what do you think? We can always go back to the hotel after eating dinner, or go directly back to the hotel. You decide, Zach.
Let's eat with them.
Mm-hmm.
I've been sheriff here for a long time now, and this is the worst murder I've ever seen.
How many murders?
Our town is a little...
The townsfolk has already told me that the murders never happened here.
We had our fair
There's still a
share
cap
of
on that
cases,
bottle, Emily.
But just the regular stuff.
Murders.
A high school kid shoplifting from the milk barn, maybe. Or some hot-headed kids fighting.
If he said this is the worst crime I've ever seen, that would be fine. But he said, this is the worst murder I have ever seen.
What
Which
kind of
means
cases
that he
have
has
you
dealt with
in the past?
murders, or he's
Not
is
much different
weird.
from those you've just mentioned.
We already know he's weird, but still.
The case I was on until last month, well, the guy killed 7 girls in a 3-month period. He sawed their heads off from the neck and took them back to his house. He cleaned the skulls up and used them as utensils in his daily life, to eat from or as a urine cup. He hated women. That was his way of dealing with it. He'd fill skulls with ice, cola, and
Comic relief music.
Then he'd down it in one gulp.
There's also a cap on that bottle, York.
For him, that was a holy ritual.
I love rituals, don't you all?
Oh, man.
Wait, you were still on the case a month ago, but the court case has already happened?
100%.
For a 7-person murder
Drinking
charge?
Skulls. Well, that is one thing. But those he had used to relieve himself, he would then just use them to drink from, too. Yeah, that was too much for me. It's just not sanitary.
Not sanitary. That's probably not the problem for most of us.
What else? Ah, yes. An ingenious law school student raped over 800 victims. That was a nasty one.
Thank you, Agent York. Now, let's talk about something else.
You don't want to hear anymore? That's a shame, isn't it, Zach? I was just about to get to the good part, too.
It sounds like you live in a totally different world. I mean, you're like an elite agent who just jumped out from a movie.
I am an elite agent, that is true. That's why I'm wearing this
Must
elite
look like
agent
we're just
suit.
Playing cops and robbers. I give up. I can't compete with you.
Don't say that, Emily. The cases you have
You
solved
can compete
are
to
all
me with me.
full-fledged
I'll
crimes.
just beat you.
A crime is a crime. Size doesn't matter. There is no big and small. Crimes always have a criminal and a victim. No victim will ever welcome.
That's not true depending on who you ask. I do kind of believe that philosophically, but
fundamentally, there is no difference in size.
there are many people who would make the argument of victimless crimes.
Well said, Agent Morgan. We work day and night to preserve
I guess
peace and order in this
jaywalking,
town.
if there really is no cars around,
You
is
understand
victimless
that, right?
crime, but, you know. There are lots of people that say certain
course.
things are victimless crimes that
Still,
really are, they do have
I don't
victims still.
view shoplifting and Anna's murder as the same level of crime.
You're wrong. Have you sent those shoplifters the electric chair? The
never
justice you
even
feel
dreamt
inside? Oh,
Such
beautiful.
a thing could ever
Righteous.
even happen in this town. I keep on expecting to see Anna here in this diner, waiting on tables.
Hasn't it been 2 days? How many times have you been to the diner is the point I'm trying to make there.
Excuse us, Agent Morgan. We should have made dinner a more uplifting experience.
I could go back to talking about the skull guy if you guys
Good
want.
night, then.